Hi everyone, welcome to my tutorial series on advanced concept with SUMO simulations. So I believe the content that I have shared so far has been useful. If you think the same, please consider subscribing to my channel. So in the previous video, where we stopped was we were focusing on reducing the simulation runtime, and then we added the traffic signal times and then vehicle type distribution finally, and then with that we simulated private vehicle uh, traffic, right? So now next what we have to do is, or rather we can do, is adding a public transport uh, service as well. So in order to do that, we can get the support of a Python script called pt lines to flows, right? So that's the, yeah, so this is let's look it up. Guess I landed on the wrong page. This is the GitHub. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there you go. So so for PT lines to flows, there are a couple of inputs needed, right? So you need to provide the network and then your bus stops and public transport lines that have provided, and it outputs yeah, so it outputs a particular flow, or rather public transport flow output. So the for for this we need like network we already have with us. The stop file you have to create, right? Now I have a file created with me. I'll show it to you, and we need to fresh. Oh, this file is new to us. PT lines. That we'll also see how we can create that. Right. So we'll go back to our. Right. So now we need the bus stops and also the bus line file. So let me do like this. I have already created them just to save the time for this video. So let me bring that. So right. So the bus stop file. Let me copy it. Let's go to the revealing file explorer, and then inside additionals, I can put it over here, the bus stop file. Now, if you look at the bus stop file, it is something like this, right? So in the network that I have, in reality, there are around 14 main bus stops, and I have put it in a particular order. So I have given an ID and a name and place where the bus stop is at, the lane and the starting position and the ending position. So those are given. So if I simply use this to my, or rather simply map this to my configuration file, then it would be something like this: additional bus stops dot xml, right? So now if I save this and go to my simulation, if I open that, you will be seeing the bus stops are also added, right? So next task is to, or rather, before using PT lines to flows Python script, what we also need is bus lines, right? So I'll copy and paste that file as well. I have already created it, but I'll show you what's the content in it, right? So in the bus lines here, what we need is we need something like this, right? So it's an additional file and start with the pt line tag, and obviously it needs an ID. This is now not something new to you in Sumo. If you see anything in ID, you need to give a unique identifier within the XML file. So this is just some metadata, right? So the bus line, the bus type, the vehicle class, and here something important. Here the period is the headway, time headway of subsequent departures. So here I set it as 120 seconds, that is 2 minutes. And then the name of the line, it's starting from a city called Moratu and go all the way up to the heart of Colombo, which is Fort. And then you can give a color to it. So this, at the moment, I have given it as red. So then you can tell what are the stops that these buses are like, the planned stop locations. Now this ID and the bus stop ID in my bus stops XML file are the same, right? So this is how these files are interlinked, right, through the ID. And now this is my short or rather short distance bus service, and also in this particular route there could be long distance buses as well. So I've created a line for that as well. There are many bus services, but I have simplified it and show it in a long distance bus service. And it doesn't stop all the way, all the bus stops on the all the 14 stops, but it's stops at some selected locations. And this time, every 5 minutes, the bus will arrive. Right, so that's the idea. And these buses are in blue color, right? So this file, you have to create it by looking at the bus transport or like public transport service. Now it doesn't have to be buses, right? It can be any public transport service. Now we have everything we need. Now let's see how we can use um, this PT lines to flows, right? So let's say make some space over here, right? So we can, let me call this as bus flows. So for that, I need pt lines to flows.py, and then the input arguments are the network file. So now my network file is inside the network. Right, so this is my network file. And then I need to provide the pt lines file that is in the additional folder, and then bus lines, let's say base. And then we need the public transport stops. It is in additional bus stops.xml. So those are the main required files. And then, I mean, you can give the starting time and ending time for these bus flows, right? So I'll be starting it at at 0 simulation second, and then I end it at 2600 simulation second, and I'll define a common stop duration around 20 seconds. Now here also the bus stops time can be vary. If you want further control, you can go for a custom Python script and generate these bus strips. I have a video created for that as well. I'll link it to this video. But here the buses will be stopped at a common, or rather simply 20 seconds at a stop. So the output will be written to, let's say this is also demand. So I'll write it to demand folder and then say bus demand. I'll call this as base. So demand, sorry, bus demand base dot rou dot xml. The reason for base we'll discuss, because we'll plan to go for simulate couple of scenarios later. So that's why I've used the word base as here as well as here. I can also use it over here as well. So then let me format the document, and then I can use the sub process and execute this. Can say this, and then the step 3. Right, something like this I can provide, and let's start this. So it's running from the beginning. You can stop, even skip the previous steps and also run, but I'll run it from scratch. Right, so bus route file is created. Now if you look at the demand, it should be inside demand. Let me see if I can refresh this. All right, PT lines to flow is not recognized as an int. Okay, there's something wrong with it. PT lines to, okay, it's PT lines to flows. Right, so there's a mistake. Yeah, I guess now it's fine. So you have the bus demand file, right? So here it creates all the vehicle types by default, right? So at the moment we are using a bus, but if it's a tram, train, subway, whatever the public transport methods that are there, you can use it. And yeah, so then you can this is my long distance buses, right? So it's starting from a middle of the edge, like middle of the corridor, right? Because that is where the first bus stop is. Probably we can see it, we can improve it on a later video, because if you see here, there's something called OSM, use OSM routes, means it says the script will adapt the PT routes from OSM XML file rather than creating a new shortest path. Yeah, so probably this we can explore a little bit later, but at the moment it starts from the very first edge where the bus stop is located. So that's a small caveat about it, but I'm pretty sure that there should be a way of correcting that. Right, so yeah, so then it create this file, right? So yeah, so we can see how we can use that. So we'll go to our SUMO configuration file, and as our demand file, now we can provide this additional, or rather our new demand file as well for public transport. So let me go here. So it's a demand bus, demand based data. Right. So that's about it. And we now refresh this, and maybe probably I'll zoom into a particular bus stop where both the buses are stopped. For example, somewhere over here. So if I run the simulation now, you should be seeing, yeah, now the buses are being stopped. Right, so these are the buses. So blue in color, is there a particular reason for that? Let me check. So bus lines are using red. This is blue. Okay. Okay. This is because the used setting file is wrong, so we'll use a different one. View constant soon, because now that we have checked it for the accumulated credit time, I guess we don't need it anymore. But in case if we need, we can change it. But it's changed to the constant soon file. So then probably I might have to exit and then come back. That's right. And let me zoom in over here. So blue bus, red bus, right? So you can see all the bus types are moving. Right. So this is what has been planned for this video, right? So if you have other public transport lines, let's say you have a tram line or something like that, that also can be added to this, and you can add or rather make your network as realistic as possible. Right. So we'll see on our next video, and then we'll see how we can take it forward. Right. For example, generating simulation outputs and then analyzing them. That will be discussed in later videos. Right. So thank you very much. We'll see you in our next video.